Here's a great Bay Area find you can go to pretty much any weekend of the year. You can find all kinds of vintage items, brand new goods. It's in Solano, at the Solano Swap Meet in Concord. Picture perfect day. I brought my youngest with me to kind of help out and learn, and you can see that it's big, it's busy. This is just one tiny corner. And there are, quite a few people walking through, but it's, like I said, it seems like there's more sellers. Wanted to show you before I do the walking portion. I thought this was kind of the best view of footage I have, where I'm actually, we left around noon. Didn't sell a ton, but sold everything I wanted to sell, and then we went and walked around a bit, but I left a little early, and so you can kind of see this is one of the main lines through. And like I said, there's people and they're buying stuff, but it's not crazy busy for the felt like 1,000 sellers that were there on this day. I do want to get into the controversy a little bit of some of these swap meets, flea markets, and just the fact that some of these booths, and I'll show one later, they have tons and tons of brand new goods that you can tell came straight from Costco or Home Depot. They still have often the stickers or the labels on them from delivery, and you wonder, how did they get all these items brand new, and 10 of them, right? Were they purchased for a business, in a storage locker, or is this where stolen goods come to be fenced? And that's a tough thing, right? Because as a buyer, you can get really good deals here, really good deals, especially from the more garage sale type stalls. But some of them have, like I said, just tons of brand new goods. They're trying to get around 60%, 70% of retail prices. So you're getting a little bit of a discount, but are you getting a knockoff good, or are you getting a fenced good? It's hard to say. You can see this is about noon, and there's still people paying to get in, so there's still people showing up. I think it goes till 3. But you also see a lot of people start to wrap up around noon, especially on a really hot day. And today was nice. It was 75. It was beautiful. I'd been there since 6 in the morning. I was done. So here I'll switch to kind of some of the walking part. I'm still learning how to do camera work. I had one attached to my backpack. You can kind of see there. Didn't have the best angle. But if you like bad camera angles, and I can continue to share some tips and tricks. A lot of this comes from my garage sale videos as well, where it's all about the seller, right? Like, who are they, why are they there, can you connect with them, can you talk to them about deals, what's their motivation? And so I also think getting there really early is where you can get the really rare items. On this day, a couple people I talked to, one gentleman got a very old pre-World War I bayonet for $10, which was, I wish I had seen that. Another gentleman showed me a little bag of jewelry that he bought with gold in it, and he paid $200, and he told me later that he sold it for $550, and it might have been worth even more than that. So he was able to flip that same day and make some good money. So in this one, I think you'll see like one person has just tons of Milwaukee equipment, brand new, multiples of the same items, and those are the ones that like I said, you kind of wonder and you question about. But most of the stuff here you can find look cool, guitars and whatever you're looking for. Collectors, this is the place where you can find stuff that's hard to find other places if it's not already on eBay. And chances are the prices will be a lot better here too as well. And on the flip side, that means as a seller, you're going to have a hard time getting good money at this market. I've sold maybe 3 times in the last year or so, and people really haggle hard. It's hard to get good value for your items. Expect to make around 25% of retail maybe. One of the tricks I've learned here is that a lot of people will barter. And so if you have a lot of stuff that you don't like and you want to trade it for something that you do like, that can be a really good thing, because a lot of the sellers here, they're looking for more inventory. And so as long as it's not huge stuff, they'll be willing to trade. I think coming up here, there's a lot of regulars, and one of the guys I like, he's got a booth right here with all these cool knives, and he has all kinds of stuff, modern Damascus and old vintage case folding knives. And so I've traded him before, where I've brought him a bunch of knives from a knife lot that I didn't want and traded it for one nice knife that I did want. And I was actually even looking to see, I had a really cool mother of pearl knife, Swiss Army knife from Czechoslovakia, and I traded him for a really cool Boker knife, and I wanted to see if he still had it, and he still had it, and it's a cool knife. And so I like this guy. There's a lot of regular sellers here, and if you get to know them, get to know their personalities and likes, learn what they want themselves, because a lot of these guys are collectors too, and they'll trade. Like that knife guy loves mother of pearl and Harley Davidson stuff, and so if I come across it, I'll often trade him, and he's happy, I'm happy. And so I think trading or bartering is kind of one of the secret tricks to this place, where you can get the best value. Of course, I too like to look at old pocket knives here, and you can get some really good ones sometimes for really good prices. These old camless knives were not quite what I was looking for, but it's always cool to go around. And then I think one of the other big things is that, especially early in the morning where the best deals are, a lot of these sellers are out trying to find something to flip, especially on Saturdays. And so when I come here, on Saturday mornings, I'm usually swarmed at 5:36 because they know I'm kind of a newer seller, and they want to see if they can get stuff that they can flip later on in that weekend. And so if you don't mind their low price and hardball prices, you can sell stuff really quickly and be done early in the day. But this particular one was across the way from me, and he had come over and bought a bunch of stuff, and I saw him selling it, or at least trying to sell it that same day. So hope you enjoyed. It was fun to film this. Hope to see you out there. This is a great place to come and spend a day.